So folks, it's 12 noon in Taiji right now. That's the chimes that you hear. And if you are just joining us, this is Rico Berry's Dolphin Project. We're live in Taiji, Japan, above the Cove, where we're watching hunters attempt to drive a pod of dolphins into the Cove. They've been driving them for several hours, and they can't really get them past this point. They're not in the Cove, but they're very close to the mouth of the Cove. But the dolphins are fighting extremely courageously and extremely hard for their lives and their freedom, and they're not going in the Cove willingly at all. Dolphins have made a break for it again, folks. All the banger boats are charging right back down the opposite direction. They're back pretty much behind the trees right now, out of our sight. Yes, I'm looking at some of your questions. Yes, this is legal in Japan. And yes, we need people to raise awareness. Thank you guys for joining us. This is really difficult to watch, and we really, really appreciate your support. See if I can see anything. They've gone back way down near the mouth of the harbor. Everything's behind the trees where I can't see. Folks, thank you for joining us, and if you're just joining us, this is Rico Berry's Dolphin Project. We're live in Taiji, Japan. We're on Takababi Hill, up above the Cove. We're watching the hunters attempting to drive a pod of dolphins into the cove. They've been driving these dolphins for several hours. The dolphins are fighting very, very hard. They do not want to go in the cove. They do not want to lose their lives and their freedom today. It's Friday, December 20th here in Taiji. It looks like they're slowly making their way back towards us again. You can still hear the banging. Hear them talking to each other. I'm just holding you guys up. I'm holding the tripod up above the trees here, so hopefully you have a better view. Probably better than I do right now. To that banging. Imagine how horrible that sounds to the dolphins. Okay, here they come, charging back up towards the cove where they've been attempting to drive them for about the last hour. They keep getting closer, but then the dolphins turn around and they make a charge, trying to get away back to the open ocean. Folks, we don't have a species yet. We're going to have to keep taking more footage and reviewing our footage. The dolphins have been down a lot and back and forth and fighting so hard. We don't want to announce a species until we're 100% sure. But I assure you that we will give you a species and numbers and keep you updated as things unfold here today. The main thing, regardless of what species, they're dolphins, in front of us right now that are fighting for their lives, that don't want to die today and don't want to be taken into captivity. And that's what we're witnessing, most likely the last moments of this family's life together as a pod. But they have not given up, and they still continue to fight this battle. This pod has got to be just completely, utterly exhausted after this fight. It's been hours they've been fighting. They've got all these banger boats bashing on their poles. They've got skiffs revving the engine at them. Got to be completely terrified. Sorry folks, I think we lost our Instagram live feed for a minute. It will only run for so long and then it shuts itself off, and I have to restart it, so should be back up for you guys now. Folks, if you're just joining us, this is Rico Berry's Dolphin Project. We're live in Taiji, Japan. Today's Friday, December 20th. It's about 12:15 p.m. here. These hunters have been driving these dolphins for several hours. They've got them right outside the mouth of the cove, and they cannot get them past this point. The dolphins keep making a break for it. They're diving down and making a break for it. Complete chaos down there. got banger boats down there. We've got several skiffs. We've got trainers. All working together trying to terrorize these dolphins and drive them into the cove. And the dolphins are not having it. They're not going in. A lot of banging, revving motors, yelling. Trying to keep you guys in the best spot. It's really hard to see up here, especially with the trees. You can certainly hear it, I'm sure. Very noisy. Can't imagine how terrorized and exhausted the dolphins must be. They've been fighting for hours. It looks like they're going to try to net them out here. I see them dropping a net. They can't get them into the cove. So I think they're going to net them right in front of us. I'm gonna move, folks. See if I can get a better view. They've got the dolphins netted in. I don't know if you guys can see. They're right to the right of that big rock down there. This is not where they normally drive the dolphins. This is not actually in the cove. They're right outside the cove. So I'm gonna try to get my ladder down here and try to get set up to give you guys a better view of what's going on here. So it looks like they have them now netted off inside the cove. They dropped a net outside the cove in order to get them this far, and it looks like they've dropped a net and the dolphins are actually in the cove right now. Let's see if we can get you a better view here up on the ladder. We're going to relocate. Bear with us. Alright, bear with me folks. I'm getting up on a ladder and I'll get you set up. Dolphins are, of course, right behind the branches. Let's see. Right in the middle of your screen. See if I can zoom in. Right in there somewhere. Should be able to see them. Folks, if you're just joining us, this is Rico Berry's Dolphin Project. We're live in Taiji, Japan. We're up on Takababi Mountain up above the Cove. And we are witnessing an epic battle between these hunters and this small pod of dolphins who have not wanted to go into the Cove. It's taken them hours just to get them this far. They are netted in the Cove now. They're drawing another net. They're right there. Right there. You can hear the sound of them pulling the tarps right now. They do that so that when they do the captive selection process and the slaughter, we're not able to see what they're doing. Sorry folks, I'm taking some pictures up here also. Let's see. Okay, so the pod is still swimming tightly together. Right below us, I think there they are, right to the left of the branch that's sticking out. Hopefully you guys can see. There they are. Swimming tightly together, extremely terrified, exhausted. They fought so hard. There are trainers that came in, and they've also drawn the tarps down below us. Folks, if you're just joining us, this is Rico Berry's Dolphin Project. We are live in Taiji, Japan. We're up above the Cove on Takababi Hill, and the hunters have got a pod of dolphins netted off in the cove. These dolphins fought extremely hard. They did not want to go in the cove today. It took the hunters hours just to get them this far. Skiffs are just running right over where the dolphins are. Thanks for joining us, folks. I know this is really difficult to watch, but together we're here to document and to bear witness to the last moments of these dolphins' lives and their freedom. Dolphins are right inside the net there in between the skiffs and the branch. They're just swimming tightly together. Terrified and exhausted, have no idea what's getting ready to happen to them. Trying to keep this where you guys can see. There we go. They're backing the skiff up right to them and revving the engine, and they're pushing them back the way they want them to go. And folks, this is a pod of Risso dolphins that they have in the cove here below us. So these skiffs are just revving their engines, just trying to terrify the dolphins and push them farther into the killing cove under the tarps. Folks, remember, this is completely driven by the captive industry. The reason that they go out and they do this every day for 6 months out of every year is because they can sell these live dolphins, wild caught, to aquariums around the world for 6 figures. And it's a very, very profitable business to them. It's not culture or tradition. There's not a high demand for dolphin and whale meat here in Japan. Most people don't want it. They don't make much money off of a dead dolphin. The meat will end up in the local supermarket. But that's not why they're doing this. They're doing this to take the captives and sell them for a lot of money to dolphinariums around the world. So what you can do is go to our Facebook page, take the pledge not to buy a ticket to a dolphin show, tell all your friends to do the same. If we can stop the demand, then we can stop this business, which is just supplying the demand for dolphins to entertain us.
おはようございます。こんにちは、この時間。Rico Barry のドルフィンプロジェクトです。今日12月20日の今朝10時20分頃イルカを見つけました。で、もうちょっとして3時間もイルカが頑張って逃げようとしてるけどできませんでした。これから捕まえるか殺すかどっちか、本当に残念ですね。このイルカはよく頑張りました。もうこのひどいことを見て、人間はなんでこんなことできるか、ちょっと悲しい気分ですね。で、今トレーナーが下の方で待って、でテーマパークにウルのイルカを選んで捕まえます。その選んでないイルカを殺してスーパーかデパートでその肉を売って、あまり日本の人は食べないんですけど、一応売ります。で、サポートしたいんだったらホームページをリコバリーのドルフィンホームページ行ってイルカのショーを見ないで頼んでください。やっぱり家族と友達と話してこの本当のひどいことを教えてください。今日見てくれてありがとうございます。
Folks, this is Rico Berry's Dolphin Project. We're live here in Taiji, Japan, up above the Cove, where we're watching a pod of Risso's dolphins being brutally terrorized and pushed deeper into the cove towards the killing beach. These dolphins have put up a fight for their lives today. It took the hunters hours to get them this far. They did not want to go into the cove. They're still fighting. Please share this live feed. Share this with your friends and family. Take the pledge not to buy a ticket to a dolphin show. And tell everybody that you know to do the same thing. Well, that skiff is backing right into those dolphins. Oh my goodness. I hope you guys can see that. There's a lot of glare. I'm trying to keep you in a spot where you can see what's going on. Here they come again, charging at the dolphins with the motor. The dolphins are terrified, trying to get away. This is so cruel, folks. Please go to Rico Berry's Dolphin Project. Please click on the Take Action links and see what you can do to help. Please take the pledge not to buy a ticket to a dolphin show. That's the only reason they're doing this, is to try to get dolphins that they can sell in captivity and make a lot of money. The rest of them are just going to be in the supermarket. They're going to be killed for their meat, which they don't make a lot of money from. Dolphin meat is extremely contaminated with PCBs and mercury. It's extremely unhealthy, and actually most people in Japan don't really want to eat dolphin and whale meat anymore. You can hear talking down below under the tarps. There they go again, charging at those dolphins, trying to push them farther into the cove, into the killing beach. The dolphins are just not wanting to go. Thank you for joining us, folks, and thanks for staying with us. We know this is really difficult to watch, but it's so important that we all know what's happening here. And together we're bearing witness to the last moments of these dolphins' lives and their freedom. And they matter. Again, folks, this is Rico Berry's Dolphin Project. We're live above the Cove in Taiji, Japan, as the hunters have netted in a small pod of Risso's dolphins this morning. They started driving them where we could see about 10, 15, 10, 20. It took them a couple hours to get them into the cove. It was very, very difficult. The dolphins fought extremely courageously, extremely hard. Right now it's almost 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And there's still a couple dolphins out there in that second net, between the second and third net, and that skiff repeatedly is revving the engine up and charging right at them, trying to push them where they want them to go. The tarps are drawn below. There are trainers down there, so they'll get all the dolphins down there and secure them so they can't get out, and they'll undergo captive selection process where they're inspected, poked, prodded, and then judged by the hunters and the trainers to determine their value, whether they're valuable enough to take into captivity and sell and make money, or whether they're going to slaughter them and they'll end up in the local supermarket tomorrow. See the dolphins again. There, the skiff is charging at them again. Right behind that skiff, in between the branches. They go charging the skiff's motors back at the Dolphins again. And he's just charging back there. The Dolphins are right there in front of them. They just continue to try to flee to get away from the skiffs. And then they huddle together and make another circle. These Dolphins have been fighting since at least 10 o'clock this morning. It's 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Got to be exhausted. Totally terrified. Thank you folks for joining us. We really appreciate your support. It means a lot that you're here and you're staying here with us. We know it's hard to watch. It's really important that you know this and you see this and that you share it with all your family and friends. It's the only way this is going to end. Again, these hunts are completely driven by the captivity industry. The trainers are under the tarps. They're inspecting the dolphins and they determine which ones are suitable for captivity and the ones that they think they can make a lot of money on. They sell some of these dolphins for up to 6 figures to these different dolphinariums. So this is completely greed and profit. It's a big money maker. Selling these dolphins to dolphinariums around the world. Most people around here don't really want to eat dolphin and whale meat. There's not a big demand for it. It's very contaminated, it's very unhealthy, and the hunters don't make much money off of a dead dolphin. It's definitely not enough to sustain these hunts every day, 6 months every year. They're still charging at those dolphins with the skiffs. Now they're dropping another net in between the second and third nets. And please be aware, folks, this is not all of Japan. This is not just a Japanese problem. Most people in Japan don't even know that this is going on. It's a global problem. These dolphins are captured here. Yes, this is ground zero for their capture, but they're sold to aquariums all over the world. And people all over the world who are buying tickets to see dolphins perform tricks like a circus clown are the ones that are supporting and driving this industry. So please take the pledge not to buy a ticket to a dolphin show and make sure all your family and friends do the same thing. There they go, charging the skiff at the dolphins again. revving up the engines and charging back at the dolphins again. I don't really know what the point of this is. It seems like they're just terrorizing the dolphins over and over. Still trying to bring across another net there. These 3 skiffs are working together, talking to each other. That one skiff on the right there just threw something weighted into the water. He just threw it again, made a huge splash trying to terrify the dolphins, and now the other 2 skiffs are revving their engines and just ramming right back into where the dolphins are. Trying to pull that net across. They're charging the dolphins again. Looks like they've got them pushed in enough to get that net pulled this time. Okay, so they've got 3 nets starting out past the rock, and then they've got a second net, and they just pulled a 3rd net. And the dolphins are right in the middle, right below the branches there, still huddled together. Folks, if you're just joining us, this is Rico Berry's Dolphin Project. We're coming to you live from Taiji, Japan. We're on Takababi Hill up above the Cove, and we are watching a battle between the hunters and a pod of Risso's dolphins. The hunters went out about 6:30 this morning. They disappeared around the point to the south, and about 10:20 or so we saw them come zooming out in formation, driving a pod of dolphins. It took them hours to get them into the cove. These dolphins have fought every step of the way. They do not want to die today. They're still fighting. They've got to be completely disoriented, terrified, exhausted. This is unbelievable cruelty, what they're doing, what they're putting these dolphins through. Dolphins are innocent beings. They do no harm. They're wild animals. They belong in the ocean. They were out there swimming together as a family this morning, minding their own business like any other day, playing together, catching fish together. And they ended up in the wrong place at the wrong time. Now here they are, and we're bearing witness to the last moments of their lives in freedom, folks. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for staying with us. We know it's not easy. A lot of yelling and discussion down there right now between the hunters. It appears, as far as we can tell, that they have all the dolphins under the tarps. Hear a lot of yelling and thrashing coming from under the tarps down below us. So they must have all the dolphins secured under the tarps because they're pulling that net up that they had to drop to get those last few dolphins where they wanted them to go. So there's a whole family of dolphins down there under those tarps. They're all secured, probably tied by their flukes so that they can be inspected. And the ones that aren't chosen for a so-called life in captivity will be slaughtered. And these dolphins will watch their family members being slaughtered. And again, folks, this is all in the name of captivity. They do this because these dolphins that they catch can be sold to dolphinariums around the world for a lot of money. Sorry folks, it looks like we lost our Instagram live stream again, but I have got it back up. Should be able to see back with us now. Hear the laughter down below. I'm not sure what they're finding funny down there. Here comes a skiff out. Looks like those skiffs that are out right now are just moving nets around. I don't see any bodies or captives on them. Okay, folks, you can probably see down to the left of your screen there's a skiff kind of partially behind the trees. There's a couple of them that are, looks like they're pulling up that net. Have not seen them bring any captive dolphins or dead dolphins out from the tarps below. Not yet. Yeah, this is very sad, guys. The second red cove in a row. Yesterday we had a red cove. It was Risso's also. Thank you guys for joining us and staying with us through this. We know it's really difficult to watch. We really appreciate your support. And folks, if you love dolphins, then you don't want to see dolphins in captivity perform tricks for you. Dolphins do not belong in captivity. There's nothing natural about it. The tricks that they do and any of their behavior is not natural behavior for a wild dolphin who swims hundreds of miles in the sea every day. Swimming in circles listlessly in a small tank and being half starved all the time so that you're so eager to do tricks to get dead fish, that's not a life. If you want to see dolphins, go see them in the ocean. There are many places where you can go dolphin and whale watching, and you can go out and see the dolphins on their own terms in the ocean where they belong. And dolphins are curious. And the whales, they will come over and they'll check you out. They want to see us and they want to come over and look at us and interact a little bit with us on their own terms when they see us out in the ocean on boats. And most likely, these dolphins were checking out these 12 boats today, and what a betrayal of trust. Now they're all under the tarps down below us. Okay, we've got two skiffs coming towards the tarps. And we'll see what they come out with. No, folks, we don't think it was a large pod, but we are going to review our footage and we will post an update and a summary later with numbers and footage from the process today. The hunting season is every year. It starts on September 1st and it goes through the end of February. And I want to emphasize again that this is driven by the captive industry. They make a lot of money when they take dolphins into captivity and they sell them to aquariums around the world. They can make 6 figures per dolphin, and that's why they're doing this. Dead dolphins don't bring them enough money. It barely pays probably for the gas for their boats, but it certainly is not profitable enough to sustain them going out 6 months of a year, every year, day after day. So please do your part. Go to Rico Dolphin Project, take the pledge not to buy a ticket to a dolphin show. Share to all your friends. Don't let any of your friends buy tickets to dolphin shows. Comes another skiff. And bear in mind, we can't see what's going on once they go into the foliage below us. Then they're underneath that is their tarps that they have drawn across the beach. So we can't see what happens down there. We know what happens, and we can hear the sounds. As far as I can tell, that skiff just has nets in it. skiff coming out to the right, coming out of the trees now with dead bodies. There's a gray tarp on the right-hand side to cover the bodies. And they'll take those around to the right to the butcher house. I've not seen them come out with any live dolphins yet. So it's gotten very quiet down below, folks. And I see the Coast Guard. It appears they're leaving. And if that is the case, then it looks like they're finished. And it appears that this whole family of Rissos lost their lives today and has been taken to the butcher house. I'm gonna make sure that the Coast Guard leaves and watch for a few minutes, make sure there's nothing else going on, and then we'll end this live stream. Thank you guys so much for joining us and staying with us. It's so important, and we owe it to the Dolphins to bear witness to their courageous fight and the last moments of their lives together as a family. And we have documentation of that. These dolphins mattered. So if you listen, you can hear them pulling the tarps back. gets really eerily quiet here in the cove when this process is over. You hear the birds and you hear the sounds of the sea, a little bit of wind in the trees. And right now, the sound of them pulling that tarp. They can cover up what they're doing down there, but we know what they're doing. It is a beautiful place. It's just an awful thing that they do here. And please, you guys, I want to remind you one more time, even after a horrible day like today, please, this is not all of Japan. This is not a Japanese problem. This town is ground zero for dolphin captivity and slaughter. But these dolphins are sold worldwide, so this is a global problem. And I want to emphasize not to wish harm on all of Japan or all Japanese people, because a lot of them don't know that this is going on. And we have Japanese activists now who are speaking out about this, and they're extremely brave. It's not easy to be an activist in Japan. So anyway, I'm going to end this live stream. This is Rico Berry's Dolphin Project. We're coming to you live from Taiji, Japan, up above the cove, where we just witnessed a small pod of Risso's dolphins lose their lives today. We will be reviewing our footage, and we'll post updates and some more photos and footage from this terrible event that we just witnessed today. Thank you guys for joining us.